Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy R.X.PAPIII. Today, we're trying to get to plat in 1v1s on Rocket League. I already got plat in basically every other category except ones, so we're not stopping until I get there. Once again, guys, budget is down, so we're doing anything for content. But anyways, the game is not really what I want to talk about because I've been thinking about the car industry lately, especially Japanese cars, and I generally don't understand what some of these companies are doing anymore. And first order of business is the new Prelude. Because what the fuck was Honda thinking? I want to start by saying that I don't think it's an ugly car. Actually, I think the body looks pretty good, and that's probably the nicest thing I'm going to say about it. Because the problem isn't necessarily that Honda made this car. My problem is that Honda called it a Prelude. When you bring an old name like the Prelude back, you're bringing back everything people associated with that name too. The old Prelude was cool because Honda was doing weird shit with it. You had the H-Series engines, you had VTEC, you had manuals, and you had four-wheel steering. Think about that shit. Honda was putting four-wheel steering into a relatively affordable coupe decades ago just because their engineer felt like doing some crazy shit. That's Honda to me. That's the Honda I like. Old Honda was basically, how much engineering can we fit into this little car? And now bringing the Prelude back, I'm sitting here looking at it like, where did all of that go? It's a hybrid. It makes around 200 horsepower. There's no manual. It's expensive compared to something like a Civic Si. So what's the point? And before someone starts typing, bro, hybrids are the future, that's not my problem. I'm not against hybrids. I'm against boring cars. There's a difference. You want to make a hybrid Prelude? Fine. Make that motherfucker ridiculous. Give it 300 horsepower. Give it rear-wheel steering again. Give it some crazy torque vectoring system. Make the electric motor feel torque while the engine is screaming at 8,000 RPMs. Do something. Make me understand why you bought the Prelude name back, because otherwise you could have called this thing the Honda fucking whatever, and I probably would have thought it's a pretty decent car. But when you call it a Prelude, now I have expectations. Imagine like Nissan comes out with a crossover tomorrow and calls it the Silvia, just the Silvia. People would lose their minds. Names matter, and I know someone's going to say, well, the original Prelude wasn't some 500 horsepower supercar either. I know. That's not what made it cool. You don't need massive horsepower to have personality. That's actually the whole problem with modern cars. Well, my whole problem at least. I feel like everybody now judges cars completely off of numbers. 0 to 60, horsepower, quarter mile, how much power can you make with a tune? And yeah, obviously I like fast shit too. I'm not going to pretend I'd rather have a 120 horsepower than a 500 horsepower car. But there's a point where speed and fun aren't exactly the same thing. And I'll use a BMW as an example, because I've been thinking about getting a BMW after my Mazda 3 lease is over. I drove an M340, and yes, the BMW dudes before they start crying. Yes, I know, B58, great motor, the M340 is fast as fuck, the transmission is good, it's comfortable, it's nice inside. You can tune them and make stupid power. On paper, it's almost a perfect daily, but I drove it, and I didn't feel anything. It's weird. The car did everything correctly. You hit the gas and you're gone. You take a corner and it just takes a corner. Everything is smooth, everything is controlled, and everything works. And somehow that almost makes me like it less. So I drove the regular 330i, way slower car, but I actually enjoyed it a lot more because I feel like I could use the car. I feel like I could push it a little. I could feel what was happening. I got a little boner. And something I think that people forget, sometimes a slower car that lets you actually experience what's happening is more fun than a faster car that does everything for you. And that's part of why I love my RX-8. My RX-8 is not fast. Let's get that out the way. I'm one of those RX-8. I'm not one of those RX-8 owners who's sitting here and pretending I'm like gapping Hellcats. I'm not. I'll probably get gapped by somebody's mom in a fucking Odyssey or something. But the RX-8 feels special. You rev that rotary out. The car is light, you feel the steering, you feel the chassis, the engine sound is completely different from basically anything else on the road. Every time you drive it, something is happening. Sometimes that's the car dumping oil all over the ground, but it's an experience. And that's exactly what I want. So bring back the cheap cars, bring back the old body styles, and I'll be happy. That's why Honda frustrates me so much. Look at the shit they used to make. The S2K. The NSX, the Integra Type R, oh my god, how bad I want one. The Prelude, the CRX, I don't really care for the CRX that much, but I still included it. The Civic Si and the Civic Type R. Yes, you had these engines that made no fucking torque, but would scream all the way to the moon. And people loved them. I loved them. Not because they dominated everything in a straight line, but because they had character. Old Honda engineers would make a 1.6 liter engine and go, yeah, let's make this bitch rev to 8K. Why? Because it's cool. That's why. Sometimes because it's cool is just enough of a reason. Now every company needs a car that appeals to everybody. And when you make a car for everybody, sometimes nobody actually loves it. I low-key been dogging on Honda, bro. I'm sorry, Honda. It's let's visit somebody else. Then we have Subaru. I low-key felt bad for dogging on Honda as much as I did. So let's talk about Subaru. Where the fuck is the STI? Like, seriously, where is it? You spent decades building the WRX STI into the most recognizable Japanese platform car names ever. What the fuck did I just say? I don't know what I just said, but I'm gonna keep going. You had rally history, the boxer engines, all-wheel drive. What were they using actually? Was it an EJ? Something like that. You had big wings, you had gold wheels. Every person on earth knew what an STI was. And then Subaru basically goes like, yeah, we're good. What you mean? The WRX is still around, and I'm glad that it is. I'm not saying the WRX is trash, but the WRX and the STI were never exactly the same thing. The STI was the crazy one. The WRX was like, I'm a practical all-wheel drive sports sedan. And the STI was like, I'm about to launch this bitch from every red light. That's an identity that you cannot replace. And especially now that there's room in the market, Mitsubishi killed the Evo like 10 years ago. I don't know how old I was. The Focus RS is gone, and the ST unfortunately, but the STI is still gone. Like, somebody step up. But actually, none of that brings me. There's actually room for somebody to build an affordable, stupid, aggressive performance car, and guess who did that? Hyundai figured that shit out. Look at the Elantra N. That's basically Hyundai going, hey, what if I made an economy sedan, loud, stiff, weird looking, and fun? And people love them because it has personality. And Mitsubishi, brother, what happened? This company made the Evo, the Eclipse 3000 GT, some genuinely legendary Japanese cars. Now ask the average guy to name a new Mitsubishi. He's gonna stare at you for 5 seconds and go, Outlander? That's fucking depressing, dude. Imagine telling someone in 2004 that 20 years later Mitsubishi wouldn't have an Evo, Subaru wouldn't have an STI, and Toyota would be one of the companies carrying Japanese performance cars. They would think you suffered brain damage. Mitsubishi's fall off needs to be scientifically studied. They studied. They went from racing heritage and turbo all-wheel drive sedans to making cars people rent at a fucking airport. This one really frustrates me. I hate talking about this. Because Nissan obviously knows how to build good cars. They know the Z exists. Twin turbo, V6, rear wheel drive, manual available, good looking car. They understand what enthusiasts want. Then you walk 10 feet into Nissan's normal cars, bro, and it's just CVT, 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 CVT. Like, bro, come on. Nissan has built some legendary engines. Anything in the RB series, the SR20 DET, any fucking VQ. I love my VQs. And the VR30. They know how to make good motors. Or not the VR30. The VR30 is in the queue. Well, the VR30 solid. And the GTR motor. Whatever, I don't know, VR38, I think. They know how to make good motors. They know performance cars, and they have Skyline history, Silvia history, Z history, GTR history. Nissan should absolutely be dominating the enthusiast cars. Instead, Nissan feels like a company that occasionally wakes up from a nap and remembers, oh shit, we used to be cool. And then they make the Z and go back to sleep. Brother, bring back the S... Don't bring it back. Remaster, bro. S16. Let's get it started. What Nissan did to Infiniti might actually piss me off more because Infiniti had a formula. It was simple. Take Nissan's engineering, make it nicer, basically put it in the suit, give it rear-wheel drive, put a good V6 in it, boom, G35, G37, Q50, and Q60. Those cars had personality, especially the G35 and 37. Half of them sound like a broken trumpets now, but that's because every 17-year-old, aka Edgar, straight 5'1". That's fucking... But that's not Infiniti's fault. The cars themselves were cool, and they slowly, Infiniti started taking away that shit that made people care about Infiniti. Now when I think of Infiniti, I mostly think of SUVs, and that sucks, bro. You had the ingredients. Take that twin-turbo VR engine, build a clean rear-wheel drive sedan, good automatic, maybe give enthusiast manual if you're feeling cool, make it handle well, undercut BMW, and done. I look at that car instead. I have to look at G37s, which actually brings me to something else. You guys are gonna fucking relate to this, bro. I don't know what happened to Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if everybody collectively smoked crack during COVID or if people just don't understand appreciation anymore. Because I've been looking at G35s and some of these sellers have completely lost touch with reality. I saw a G35, 250,000 miles on fucking 250,000 miles, bro. 250,000 miles on the car. Bro wanted $4,000. That's $4,000. Brother, the car has driven to the moon, bro. What are we doing? At 250 cars, fucking miles, I'm not buying a car anymore, bro. I'm adopting a grandma, bro. The G35 has memories. It has trauma. That driver's seat has seen 7 different owners, 3 girlfriends, 2 repossessions, and probably somebody got throat driving that. I don't know. And you want $4,000? And somebody's gonna say, well, G35s are reliable. Okay, sure. The VQ can run. I'm not saying 250K means the fucking car's gonna instantly explode, but that's 250,000 miles. Everything else has 250K. You know, like bushings, wheel bearings, transmission, differential, the fucking interior, suspension, every little piece of rubber underneath that motherfucker has seen the Bush administration, bro. And people price these cars like mileage is a cute little number on the dashboard. Then I found another one. This girl has a G35 around 200,000 miles. The listing says $1,000. I'm like, okay, that's sick as fuck. So I hit her up. And then I text her, hey, is this the real price of the car? She says, no, that's the down payment. I'm like, okay. I'm thinking maybe she's asking for like $4,000 maybe. That's a little high. So I messaged her, how much is the car? She says $8,000. $8,000 for a 200,000 mile G35. Like, what? At this point, just keep it. I don't even want to negotiate with you anymore because we're definitely not from the same reality, bro. If you're asking 8K and I'm thinking like 3.5, there's no negotiation. We're in 2 different universes. And the funniest part is the shit that they say on Marketplace, bro. Like, I know what I got. No, the fuck you don't, bro. That's the problem. If you knew what you have, you wouldn't have been listed it for 5 months. God damn it, they hit you with don't waste my time. Bro, you're wasting everybody else's time. And financing an old G35 with 200,000 miles is just crazy to me. At $1,000 down payment, like, what are the monthly payments? $300 a month until the sun explodes? Imagine making a car payment while replacing control arms on a 20-year-old Infiniti. That's evil. And I'm not even hating on G35s. I like G35s. That's why I'm looking for one. They're cool cars, rear-wheel drive, VQ. You can get manuals. They sound good no matter what exhaust you put on them. In my personal opinion, I like rasp. I like trumpets, and they're fun. But G35 owners started pricing them like fucking Supras, bro. It's happening with the Zs too. Somebody buys a completely destroyed Z for $4,000. They put ESR wheels on it, cut the springs, install the tome, and they drifted into 17 curbs. Then 2 years later, 9,500. Firm, no trades, serious buyers only. What value did you add though? You abused it, and that's negative value. And then you always have like a mod list that explains the price, 12K invested, Ecutech, Z1 intakes. Like, bro, I don't care. Mods are not a savings account. If you buy a 1500 exhaust, your car did not fucking magically gain 1500 in value. That's not how it works. If I spend 900 putting coilovers on my RX-8, I don't get to add 900 to the Kelly Blue Book, bro. That's my bad financial decision, not yours. Marketplace is becoming a museum of other people's bad decisions, bro. And I kind of hate it. So, and this is what sucks about the whole thing, bro. Cars like G35s, 350Zs, old Civics, Miatas, RX-8s, I threw that in there just in case you didn't know that's my car. Those were supposed to be cheap, fun cars. You were supposed to be able to be young, have a few $1,000s, buy some questionable Japanese car, and learn how to work on shit, learn how to drive, break something, fix it, modify it. That's how half of the car culture starts. But now everybody thinks their 200,000 mile shitbox is an investment. Bro, it's okay for a car to be cheap. Not everything needs to hold value. Sometimes the value is that some 19-year-old gets to have fun and buy it. That's me. And somehow, while everybody else is doing shit in Japan, Toyota has become one of the Japanese companies I respect the most. Which hurts me to say because I've talked shit about Toyota forever. Toyota to me was always Camry, Corolla, reliable, boring. the car your aunt buys when she doesn't want to think about a car for the next 15 years. And then Toyota randomly decides, fuck it, let's make cool shit again. The GR86, I love it. Boxer, manual. They call it like God's chassis or something. I love these cars. GR Corolla, yeah, that stuff. Supra, B58, gotta love it. And I know, bro, I know somebody's already typing the Supra's a BMW. Like, shut up, bro. I understand it's heavily BMW. The B58 is BMW. The Z4 connection is obvious. Nobody's pretending otherwise, but is the car good? Yes. That's what I care about. Toyota worked with BMW, and the result is that I can buy a rear-wheel drive turbo inline 6 sports coupe in 2026. I'm not going to complain about that. If BMW has the motor and Toyota wants a sports car, collaborate. Who gives a shit? People act like Toyota walked into a BMW dealership, bought a Z4, put a Toyota badge, and just fuck it, bro. Like, at least they're putting sports cars on dealership floor. And now we've been talking about Toyota developing another mid-engine sports car. If they actually bring back the MR2 properly, this could be really cool. Small, light, engine behind you, rear-wheel drive, little turbo motor. Basically a Japanese go-kart. That's exactly what I want companies to make. Not everything needs 700 horsepower. Give me 250 or 300 and something that weighs nothing. That would probably be more fun on the canyon road than some 600 luxury missile, bro. And supposedly the Silica, his name, has been floating around too. I'm interested, but I'm also not believing shit until I physically see one. Because I've been a Mazda fan for a long time. I know how this works. Every 6 months, new RX-9 confirmed. And it's some fucking concept Mazda showed for 8 seconds at an auto show. At this point, Mazda could announce an RX-9 tomorrow, and I'd still be like, I'll believe it when someone gets a loan on one. And Mazda is frustrating because they have good shit. They have a 3.3 liter turbo inline 6. Why is the engine why is the engine mainly being used in SUVs? Mazda, please, I'm begging you. Take that 3.3 liter inline 6, put it in a Mazda 6 rear-wheel drive or rear biased all-wheel drive. Give it like 300 horsepower, give me a DCT, and just make a Japanese M340 competitor. I would genuinely look at that, because Mazda interiors are already good, Mazdas generally steer well, Mazda styling is clean, and an inline 6 Mazda sedan would actually give the brand something different. Right now, if you want a Japanese sports sedan, your options aren't exactly amazing, especially if you want rear-wheel drive. Mazda has an opportunity sitting right in front of them, and instead, they're like, would you like another CX-90? No, I want the engine without the rest of the school bus. Really, that's my issue with modern cars in general. Modern cars are objectively incredible. They're ridiculously fast, safe, efficient, quiet, and comfortable. You get a normal sedan now that would have embarrassed supercars from 20 years ago. But everything is becoming so optimized that sometimes the personality gets optimized out too. Every interior has the same giant screen. Everything is automatic. Everything has 50 driver assist systems. Everything needs 4 doors. Everything needs to be comfortable. Everything needs perfect fuel economy. Everything needs to appeal to the widest possible audience. Give me something stupid. Like, seriously. Give me bad decisions. Give me engines that rev higher than it needs to. Give me a manual that's technically slower. Give me a tiny back seat that nobody can use. Give me an exhaust that's a little too loud. Give me weird styling. Give me an engineer who clearly won an argument against accounting. That's what creates memorable cars. Because when I think about Japanese cars, people still obsess over the R.X.PAPIII, the Supra, the NSX, the S2K, what else? The Evo and the STI and the Sylvia. What's that one Mitsubishi called? 3000 GT, the Skyline, and the Integra Type R, bro. None of those cars are remembered because they were the most practical transportation ever. They're remembered because somebody actually gave a shit about making something interesting. And I just want more of that back, you know? Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the new Prelude. Actually cool. Is it actually cool, or am I just hating, bro? Which Japanese company do you think fell off the hardest? What company is doing the best right now? And I especially need somebody to explain Facebook Marketplace G35 prices to me, because I genuinely feel like I'm losing my mind. If your G35 has 250,000 miles on it, I'm sorry, you do not have an appreciating asset. You have a survivor. Anyways, it's your boy, R.X.PAPIII. If you fuck with the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what other topics you want me to talk about. Have a good day, guys.